The window shattered into 100 pieces, scattering across the rec room floor. I stuck my hand through the now open window and started jostling the chair, leaning against the door. The chair is pretty heavy, but if I can just... I push on it with all my strength, and finally the knob turned. Sakura! I ran up to her as fast as I could, but the moment I laid my hand on her... What? She's dead? I could feel only the last lingering warmth of a living body. Life had abandoned Sakura's body, and then... Wait, are you kidding me? Just like that?
A body has been discovered! After a certain amount of time, which you may use however you like, the class trial will begin!
Danganronpa.
Huh? Sakura's dead? She's really dead?
I'd heard Hina talking, but my eyes stared steadily forward. I could only look on at Sakura's dead body. We didn't make it in time. It's happened again. Muttering to herself, Kyoko began to gently inspect Sakura's body. I wondered, was she confirming that Sakura really was dead? Checking for a pulse or a reaction? I have to go get them. I have to go get the others. On shaky legs, Hina left the rec room, and I... Why? Why did this have to happen? That's all I could say. I repeated it over and over again. I need to examine Sakura's body. I just stood there motionless behind her while she checked Sakura's corpse. Time passed. While I stood there, unable to do a thing, time just passed. And after I don't know how long, I got everyone.
What?
Ogre!
Yes.
So she's dead, huh?
I see.
Sakura's been killed? I see. As soon as they arrived, Kyoko began.
Just a second.
You heard the announcement just now, right? So you know what this means. Sakura was murdered. And by someone in this very room. Is that what you were going to say?
Huh?
No. Whoever killed her, it's not just by someone in this room.
It's your fault.
It was one of you. Hiro, Byakuya, Toko, one of you killed Sakura.
What?
You're accusing us before we even begun the investigation? I don't need to investigate anything, because you hated her, you hated the sight of her, one of you did it, I know it! Jeez, I didn't know your power level would increase by that much just by getting mad. What are you even doing here?
Come on.
I'm here to hand out my little murder flyer. That's right. The next Monokuma file. And don't get so mad, Miss Asahina, or you're gonna ruin Miss Asahina, or you're gonna ruin that lewd little face of yours. Now then, with that, hold on. There's something I want to ask you. It was you, wasn't it? You killed Sakura? Sakura wanted to challenge the mastermind into a duel. Maybe you and her fought again, and then I killed her? Sorry, not quite. Actually, not even close. That whole thing is totally irrelevant now. Sakura came to a most regrettable end without even getting the chance to finish things with me. Which, thank God for that, it saved me the trouble of having to go through with our little fight. Because even for someone like me, it would have been no mean feat to take down a behemoth like that. I gotta tell ya, I was actually pretty worried. I mean, she'd violated a rule by attacking me in the first place, but I wasn't able to punish her. So I don't know who it was, but whoever the Blacken is this time, I owe you one. Before you get all pissy-potty at me, you just better figure out who did it first. Cause I mean, your lives are all on the line, right?
What is this?
Yeah, I know. I don't get it either.
I won't forgive you.
I hate this whole thing. I hate it too! How can you say that now? Sorry, I don't have time for your squabbling. The next game has already begun. If you want to be angry at someone, be angry at whoever killed Sakura. You make it sound like you did, so...
Anyway,
If we can't do that, we're all dead. Then let's decide who will stand guard this time. I'll do it. I'm okay. Just let me handle it. Besides, I want to be here with Sakura.
Fine.
Okay, then Hina is guard number 1. But we need one more. Kyoko, that's you.
what?
Me? You're always a thorn in my side. Just this time, just stand by and watch quietly. Consider that an order.
That's fine.
Okay. There's something I want to say. None of you are allowed to step foot into the crime scene.
It's your fault.
One of you killed Sakura. I won't let someone like that come anywhere near her.
Stop talking.
Our lives are in just as much danger as yours. We have every right to investigate. I don't care what you have to say. I'm not letting the one who killed Sakura anywhere near her. Even if it means I have to use force, you're not getting in here. How about a compromise? I won't ask you to let us all in. Just let me. You don't really care, do you? You're both useless anyway. I'd rather spend time coming up with another splendid fantasy involving Master anyway. If you're gonna go that far, what can I do? I mean, I don't have anything to hide, so why should I care?
It's all clear now.
What are you saying?
Nothing's decided. I know how you feel, Hina, but you should agree to this request.
Hey,
We have to find out who killed Sakura. For those of us still alive, and to honor Sakura's memory. You're absolutely not allowed to touch her. Who would want to touch a filthy dead body?
listen.
That's enough fighting. We need to focus on the investigation from here on out. Everyone keep this in mind. If we can't uncover Sakura's killer, all of us face execution. Finding out who kills Sakura, it's not a matter of hoping we can do it. If we want to survive, we have to do it. It's a kind of hopeless hope. We have no choice but to just do it. Oh, man. The victim was Sakura Ogami. The time of death is estimated to be around 12 noon. The body was discovered in the rec room on the 3rd floor of the school. There is evidence of a strong blow to the victim's head. No other injuries were noted. However, it seems that at some point the victim suffered from violent vomiting of blood. Interesting.
Hey,
I think the case this time might be a challenge. Why is that?
so...
The only way into the rec room is the door we just came through. And that door had been jammed shut with the chair inside the rec room, which means the killer must have had to escape somehow after barring the door. So if the door is blocked from the inside, and there was no way in or out till we broke the window, there's like zero escape, right? In other words, this is a classic locked room murder. I guess you might see this kind of thing a lot in mystery movies or books or whatever, but could it really happen in real life and right before our very eyes like this? Are you curious to hear more about what a locked room murder entails?
That's fine.
When you break down this kind of murder mystery, there are 4 basic types. The first type is when the locked room is created after the actual crime is committed. This simply means that the killer commits his crime, then through some special method seals the room. This mainly involves some sort of trick involving the locking of the room. Basic approaches include using a string or simple mechanism. There are a number of variations, so for that, all we'd have to do is check the door to see if that's what it was, right?
Yeah.
The second type is when the lock room already exists before the crime is committed. Oh?
In other words,
Basically, the killer uses a special contraption or tool from outside the target to target the victim inside. You push a switch and it fires a handgun. You shoot an arrow through a gap of the door or something like that.
however,
But in this case, that doesn't seem to fit. There are no guns or arrows in the school, and the door doesn't have any gap that would allow it.
it's
Okay,
true.
so that obviously can't be it. The third type is when the killer stays in the room until it's opened up. What do you mean by
In
that?
other words,
They stay hidden, and when the door is open, they use the confusion to blend in with the group. They pretend they showed up along with everyone else, and that's that. That sounds like it could have been possible. I mean, sounds possible. Everybody came in the room very surprised. And the fourth and final type is when it wasn't actually a locked room at all. Not a locked
in
room?
other words,
By that, I mean there actually is an alternate escape route somewhere within the room. You see this a lot in novels and things, but in reality, it's generally not possible. Then you think we can cross that one off too?
Indeed.
I believe so, yes. So when it comes down to locked room mysteries, those are the basics. So there are 4 possibilities. Then Kyoko, which of the 4 choices seems likely in this
true.
case? That's a good question. Answering that should be our primary focus during this trial. But right now, I can't really say. I see. The way the killer set up the locked room. Until I figured that out, the truth behind Sakura's death will stay hidden. It's definitely a tough mystery. I need to concentrate and investigate as much as I can. For Sakura, if nothing else. Okay? Wait, what is that?
What?
You're bothering me, go away.
however,
But for Sakura to have been killed, yeah, she's not the type who would go down without a fight.
it's true.
And she certainly didn't, I would say. She was the ultimate martial artist, strong in body, mind, and spirit. So how was the killer able to get the upper hand on her? I wonder, did someone get the upper hand? They must have taken her by surprise,
Certainly.
right? Certainly. They couldn't. They would have needed to if they expected to stand any chance against her.
What the heck?
We already know who did it. Byakuya, Toko, or Hiro. It had to be one of them. They couldn't stand the sight of her. You agree with me, don't you, Makoto? Well, I don't want to say anything for sure without finding out more. Then let me help you out. Let me help you find more. You see, Sakura asks all 3 of them to meet with her. You know where? Right here in the rec room. After I went to the nurse's office this morning, Sakura and I both left together, right? Well, eventually she went off on her own. But when I saw her again after that, she told me, she said she'd left a note for each of them. She asked them to meet her in the rec room by noon. By noon? The Monokuma said she died right around then. I'm telling you the truth. I heard it right from Sakura herself, and I tried to stop her. But she wouldn't listen. She said not to worry, that she just wanted to talk to them. And this is what happened. If I'd stop her by force even, this never would have happened. It's impossible not to have any regrets. Okay, so we have some. Okay, so there's a witness right there. But the fact that she'd asked those 3 to meet with her, and she asked them to come to the rec room at noon, the same time and place she ended up dying. It might be good to confirm what I just heard with the 3 of them directly.
What?
There's something I'd like to ask you about. Make it quick. Is it true that Sakura asked you to meet her in the rec room? So you found out. Interesting. Then it's true? I did receive a note to that effect, yes. But what fool would do what it said and risk being killed by that monster? So you didn't go see her? Of course not. I ripped the note to shreds and threw it away. I haven't seen Sakura today at all. Okay, so if Byakuya said that, then it had to be either Toko or Hiro. So there's only 2 answers then.
What the heck? I won't forgive you.
Wait, there's blood on the floor. There's a blood stain in front of the magazine shelf. It must have come from Sakura, right? But that doesn't make any sense. Why is it so far away from where she died? Maybe someone moved her to the chair. Magazine shelf bloodstain has been added. Okay, nothing to do with the investigation. Sakura drew her last breath sitting slumped forward in this chair. There's obvious evidence of the blow to the head Sakura suffered. Normally, I wouldn't have any problem believing that's what killed her, but according to the Monokuma file, she had also vomited blood. And I could see a trace of blood on her lips for sure. So, what would have caused her to vomit blood? Okay. Maybe her getting hit on the head somehow caused her to start vomiting blood? Not a chance.
That's fine.
However, your eyes have landed on a most interesting location. Interesting?
Naturally.
Yes, most interesting. Don't you agree? No, I don't think I call it interesting. The reason Sakura vomited blood absolutely has to be connected to why she died. That is true. The locker's open. It's a handprint?
Why?
What's a handprint doing here? It looks like someone touched the inside of the locker and left a handprint in all the dust.
It's true.
And it looks quite fresh too. I'd say someone was hiding in the locker and they left behind a little something extra. So then, maybe the killer hid in there until the locked room was open, don't you think? And during all the confusion, they popped out and joined the rest of the group.
Wrong.
Unfortunately, that's not a possibility.
Hey.
Think back, we opened the door, we looked inside the room, right? Yeah, there's absolutely no way. And even then, we would see the person come out of the locker.
Indeed.
Okay, there's that. What is this stuff down here? There are shards of glass scattered around the chair Sakura was sitting on. The glass is all red, and these are the top and bottom sections of a bottle, right? So this must originally have been a bottle. Okay, so someone killed Sakura with a bottle. A chess piece of Monokuma. Okay, figure on the floor has been added. Okay. There are 4 red bottles lined up on the shelf. And inside each bottle, there's some kind of Monokuma figure. What I'm wondering is, how'd they get those figures inside the bottles?
So...
It's no different from your standard ship in a bottle, huh? You know, where the bottle's opening is smaller than the boat placed inside. You've never seen that? Oh yeah, maybe I have. I've seen it. So this is the Monokuma version of that. A Monokuma bottle, if you will. Okay, so the killer grabbed one of those bottles and hit Sakura with it. I feel like I'm finally starting to make sense of things little by little. The Monokuma bottle's sitting on the shelf. The Monokuma figure we found on the ground. The red shards of glass, which probably started out as a bottle. Which would mean Sakura must have been hit in the head with a Monokuma bottle, right? The shards of glass and the Monokuma figure are evidence of that, so I think it's safe to say that the Monokuma bottle was the weapon. Alright. Now what is this down here? Some kind of wrapper? That's... Do you recognize it, Hina? Well, yeah, I mean, I gave it to her. That's a candy wrapper. Sakura got upset when she found out Genocide Jack had attacked me, right? So after we left the nurse's office, I gave it to her. I thought it might help her calm down a little. So you gave that candy to Sakura. I found a big box of it in the warehouse. I really like them. Actually, as soon as we could get into the warehouse, I took the entire box into my room. I made sure nobody else could get their hands on them. You really like him that much?
I mean,
But I wanted Sakura to get a chance to try one for herself. That's why I gave it to her. But now, they've lost all their flavor. Okay. What is that thing right there? There's some kind of plastic container rolling around near the entrance of the room.
So,
It looks like a protein drink and it's empty. Sakura must have drank it. Everyone knows how much she loved her protein. And she mentioned more than before how protein was good for all sorts of ailments.
wrong.
I wouldn't take that to heart if I were you. I know. But this protein can, it's got a label and it says Chem A2. That reminds me, Sakura mentioned how the Chem Lab had all kinds of health stuff. So she must have gotten this from the Chem Lab.
Just a second.
But that's strange.
Hey,
You see what's scattered around the can? Shards of the light blue glass. They must be parts of the window I broke to get inside. But they aren't just scattered around the can. They're also underneath it. Why does that matter? I can't say for sure yet, but you're probably going to you're probably going to want to take note of it. I feel like it'll become an important clue later on. Why is the can on the glass though? That wouldn't make any sense because we broke the window. The can was there. The can was probably there before we got inside the room. And then like, how did the can get on top of the glass? Like, the glass should be on top of the can instead because we broke the window. Okay, how about the door? This door is the only way in or out of the rec room. The door doesn't have a lock, and there's no evidence that the mountings have been tampered with. The only notable change to the door is the smashed window, which happened, of course, when I broke it to get inside. There's no evidence that any kind of string or mechanism was used on the door. In other words, I don't see anything suspicious about the door itself. Is there anything else that I'm missing? There's nothing else? But, I don't know. Do I have to talk to these guys again? Wait, no, the chair! The chair was shoved against the doorknob so we couldn't get the door open. There's no evidence that any kind of string or mechanism was used on the chair. In other words, there's no reason to think the chair had anything special done to it. Having examined both the chair and the door, there's no doubt the reason the door didn't open was simply because the chair was shoved up against it. This kept the doorknob from turning and the door from opening. And there was no evidence of the door or chair being tampered with or anything like that. So the killer must have created the locked door from the inside, not from the outside. Okay.
listen.
For the most part.
So then
You should probably go talk with people now. I'm on guard duty, so I can't leave.
listen to me.
Which is why I've decided you'll go in my place. Okay. Those two other people went back to their rooms. Alright, well, we have a crime investigation to solve regarding Sakura's death. So, with that being said, that is going to be it for this episode of Danganronpa. And next time, we're going to go find out who killed Sakura. Because, quite honestly, I am in total shock that Sakura was the next one to go. I did not see this happening at all. But This is Danganronpa. This game is way too unpredictable so far. But, yeah. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.